When I was young, sit beside me, my only son. Listen closely to what I say, and if you do this, it'll help you some sunny day. Forget your lust for the rich man's gold. All that you need is in your soul. Find a woman and you'll find love. And don't forget, my son, there is someone up above. And be a simple kind of man, someone you love and understand. Hey y'all, welcome back to Spirit of the Outdoors. No, I'm not very good at playing the guitar, but I do love it. Been playing one for a lot of years, and got away from it. Y'all, I have laid them down for probably about 20 years when my daughter was born, and here recently I just started picking it back up. My son's big enough that I'm not disturbing him, and you don't disturb a baby when they're sleeping. You just don't do that. Not practicing guitar. And if you're going to play, you need to practice it every day. This is a cheaper Ibanez guitar, one that stays out here in my shed, you know, but it is a really good guitar. I put that guitar in a case 2 years ago, tuned, and I got it out to you. It was not touched for 2 years over there in a case. I got it out. It was still perfectly in tune. That's a good guitar. So, today, I want to talk to you about a country boy's savings plan or investments. You know, a lot of times you wonder, why does that old boy got so many guns? Why has he got all them guitars? Why has he got these expensive guitars? Well, I'm going to give you my thoughts on it. Is this fact and set in stone? Absolutely not. So before we start this video, you see this nice hoodie that I am wearing. These are on my Etsy store. These are Gildan shirts. This is the first one that I have had my hands on. My merchandise now is not set up to where I personally handle it. So I don't, now if I make knives and I make pottery, that'll come directly from me. I'll handle it. All the shirts, the white coffee mugs with the logo on my Etsy store, all that is handled now through Printify. So when you place an order through Etsy, Printify prints that, makes it on demand, and then ships it to you. So it takes about a week. Now, it took me about a week and a half to 2 weeks to get this shirt. So I have no control over any of that, okay? If it gets lost in shipping, gets sent to the wrong place, all this yada yada, I have no control over any of that. However, I did want a shirt of my own. So I had to buy it pretty much just like you do. But I wanted to see what the quality was, and I got it, and y'all, I'm happy with it. It is a good hoodie sweatshirt. Now, I don't wear a lot of hoodies, so my daughter or my wife will probably wind up with this. I love my old flannel shirts and such as that. I will wear it some. I mean, you know, this will probably be my good shirt. You know what I mean? So what that also did was allowed me to make different colors. You can go into there and you can select, we've got them in yellow with green logos. I mean, there's white with the green logo. You can get brown with the orange logo. The t-shirts have a multitude of colors. The sweatshirts, there's several other colors you can get. This is probably my favorite color. But I just wanted to tell you, I'll drop a link down in the description box of this video. If you want merchandise, go to that link through Etsy. And you go to my Etsy store and you can shop that. I do add pottery alone, it is one-off stuff, y'all. You're not going to be able to go in there and buy a whole set of pottery or a whole list. I mean, it is, as I make something and I have something extra and I stick it on there, that's how that works. And my pottery will only be the one-off stuff like the face mugs or the feather cups. Let's talk about the feather cups. I should have brought one out here. I don't have one with me. They're up there with the other pottery. They are unglazed. In other words, you're not going to just take a rag and wipe it out and it's clean. It's porous and it will soak in seasoning, which for me, like this coffee cup is Alewife pottery from up at Gatlinburg, has a glaze. Well, it's smooth. You can wash it out very easily. If you're really going to wash, you got to be a little more diligently washing those unglazed. I like the aesthetic. It looks like a Native American pottery. And that is why I made it. I do drink out of mine. For me to sit here and tell you FDA says that they're food safe, probably not, okay? But I do drink out of them. You do like you want to with them. I'm not forcing them on you, so I just want to clear that up. The rest of our pottery is all food safe. The face mugs are all glazed. They're 100% microwave and food safe. So anyway, let's get on to the video at hand. Now, I do not have a fire going in my stove right now. I know somebody's going to say, you got that cup sitting on that stove? There's no fire went out. We were in the road yesterday delivering pottery. Come in late last night. Really sleeping in this morning. It's a little late. Eat breakfast. My wife made me some jack-o'-lantern pancakes, I called them. They were pumpkin pancakes, but they were very good. And I bought me a new coffee. I had to grind it with a hand grinder. I chucked it up in my drill and I done made coffee. And I brought some down here. I'm fixing to make some down here. So anyway, there's no fire going this morning. But I had these thoughts on my mind. One of it, I was watching J.R. Willis's video. Y'all go check him out. He's an amazing musician. Jam up banjo player. If you ever went over there and started listening to him, and he kind of does like me, sits down and talks about life, and just a good old country boy, and I think the world of him. He was talking a little bit in his video about guitars, and I want you to know I agree with him. He was talking about the hype and the expensive guitars. You know, you get $2,000 guitars, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 guitars, and like this old guitar right here, I give $200 for this guitar to pawn shops, Ibanez. Jam up good guitar, as good as any other guitar they are. And it just was my campfire guitar. We had it over at our cabin. We passed it around. I mean, who's going to take a Les Paul and just hand it to whoever, you know, you don't know if they know much about guitars, and they drop it, and you know what I'm saying? So you keep a cheap guitar around for that kind of stuff. But why would you want an expensive guitar? Well, a couple of reasons. Number one, when you buy something expensive and you just buy it brand new off the shelf, there's a real high chance that it is high quality. Where if I go buy this guitar new, it's hit or miss on whether that's going to be a good one or not, because they're not as detailed in the quality of that instrument as they are as just saying how many they make an affordable guitar, and everything's put together a little cheaper. So they're not handmade, they mass produced. And when you buy a real expensive, you go buy a Hummingbird, you know, a Gibson or a Martin or a Taylor or a Fender. You buy all these expensive name brand, or either especially if you go buy a custom shop tailor-made guitar, you paying thousands of dollars. Well, you know you're getting a quality insurance. Number two, you know that instrument's going to hold its value for a long period of time. I've got a Les Paul that I did not buy. My daddy and mama gave it to me for my graduation. It's a 1950 Les Paul Classic. Sunburst, beautiful guitar. My favorite instrument that I own. Stays in a case most of the time. That guitar was $1,500 when they bought it, new in 98 or 99. It was in 1999, because that's the year I graduated, and they did buy it right about graduation time and ordered it. I think ordered it from Musician's Friend back in them days. Now that guitar is worth anywhere from, realistically, probably low end around $2,500 up to $35,000. I seen a couple a little more, depends on the condition and the model numbers, and you know how all that stuff gets. It can go up from there depending on each guitar. Mine is probably in the $2,500 to $3,000, $3,500 range. I don't really know. I hadn't took that guitar and said, hey, how much is this one worth? But that is the purpose. So it's like an investment. And when you take your money and you go just stick it in a savings account at the bank, you may can get it set up to where it grows a little interest. But not a lot usually. Unless you put piles of money in there to where it can really grow, you don't really see a whole lot out of it. And my grandpa, he had $300,000 back many years ago. He had worked and saved up. They was raised in the Depression and as a kid and grew up not having nothing. And when they got to where they could work and make money, they saved everything. And that generation of people just knew what it was like from experience to save. And he had $300,000 when he could have went and bought a brand new house and a truck and lived, not had to work, not do nothing. But he put it in the bank and sat on it and drove an old raggedy truck, which it was a good truck. It wasn't raggedy, but it was an old truck. Didn't even have power windows or power door locks. And 99, when he died, he had no power windows. It was roll up, manual, no radio, just old manual air. I don't even know if it had air conditioning in it. And that's just the way he lived. And when he passed away, they divided the money up, and $300,000 wouldn't buy you nothing by then. Not compared to what it would have in when he had it. Now $300,000 won't get most of y'all out of debt. So when you save $1,000 for 10 years, you can't buy a quarter. Well, realistically, you can't buy half what you could have bought now with that $1,000 in another 10 years. And depending on inflation, it may be more like a quarter. So why buy guns? Why buy guitars? And y'all, it is not limited to these two items. I mean, there's a lot of different things that a lot of people are interested in, antiques and collector's items. You know, some like knives. A lot of people collect case knives. They increase a little in value. I like case knives. I'm not a die-hard case knife guy. They are very good knives. However, I think maybe some of their quality is starting to decline a little. Still, good knife holds good value, especially to collectors. But there's a lot of other items. But vehicles are right the opposite. And I see a lot of people sink a lot of money into brand new vehicles. Every few years, man, I want another brand new vehicle. And that money is going down a hole. I mean, it's like throwing money in a hole watching it burn. Because when you buy a new vehicle and you drive it off the lot, you've lost $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $10,000. I mean, right off the bat. I mean, that day you couldn't turn around and get that money back to save your life. And that's the way of the world now. People's, they don't really think about my savings plan. Well, I can invest in guns and guitars and use them, and if I take really good care of them, which I probably don't, they're still worth a lot. Now, there's some guns that are low quality that they never going to be worth a whole lot. A lot of our rifles now go into plastic stocks and stuff. The quality is just not there. A lot of people would like to argue that, but it is simply just those synthetic stocks and things. Some of them are still really high quality, depending on the maker. But if you want to, you want to have a good quality rifle, and you got those old guns with wood stocks are still worth probably as much as a new one now. Especially through Browning, the old Remingtons, the Model 700s, and several other brands. Ruger even had some really great guns, especially Ruger handguns. And that is like this little handgun here. This little gun here I bought as partly an investment. I don't tote it a whole lot. I don't shoot it a whole lot. This is a little 327 with a bird head handle, stainless, laminated stocks. It is a 7-round and 327 Magnum, and there are frankly just not a lot of them out there. This gun is already worth more than I gave for it right now. Hands down. It's probably increased in value probably a couple of $100. I think I gave $600 and something for this several years ago. I know I could probably get 8 for it now because they just not out there. People want them and can't get them. Now, if you buy one brand new, they're probably not worth that much. But you can get that because there's some people that, man, I really want that. It's kind of a rare thing. So it's an investment. I spent that $600, and now that $600 is turned into 8. I've got some old guns, and this is not about how many guns and how many guitars I got. There's no way that I would ever sit down and film any video and display every gun and every guitar and things like that I got because, number one, I ain't trying to rub in your face what all I got. And I really don't have that much. It's stuff that I have been given, a lot of it is, and a lot of people look at it and say, oh, you try to proclaim you poor and then you got all this stuff. A lot of the things I have, I was given, and I hang on to stuff, y'all. I don't trade. I don't sell. When I get something, I usually keep it till from now on. I mean, that's like my old truck. I'd rather work on it than go buy another one. But if I went and bought another one, I'm not getting rid of that one to get one. I know a lot of people that they'll buy a new gun every year for hunting season. When hunting season's over, they'll sell that gun to go buy them a new fishing boat motor or a boat or whatever. And they steadily trading. Well, they don't realize that they're losing money the whole time. Buy one and keep it and hunt with it. And my daddy had a philosophy, told me, he said, son, he said, if you ever get tired of a gun, prop it in the corner and go buy another one. He said, I've never got rid of a gun that I didn't regret it. And that's truth. I've talked to a lot of people, and they said that's truth. This week I was talking to Mr. Jack Jarman, and he's older gentleman. He said, I totally agree with that. He said, I've got rid of a couple of handguns. He said, I wish I had them back. He said, I looked for one of them for the last couple of years, and he said, I couldn't find it. And there's a lot of them old, like, and I don't have it in here. This little crack shot Stevens right here is a jam up good rifle. There's not a lot of these anymore. I seen a buddy of mine the other day had one that his grandpa had did some engraving on. Beautiful rifle. His grandpa was a gunsmith, done a really good job on it. Increased the value of that gun. Now, you can do some things to a gun and decrease the value, but, you know, if you do it right, you can increase it. Some of these old guns, these black powder is what's all out. All of this is black powder except for this 12 gauge and this 22. And then there's a pellet rifle here that's just out here. There's my little lever action. Let me get it. My more expensive rifles stay in the house locked up. These are my working guns, 22s that I grab if I want to run to the woods right quick. This is a little Browning lever action 22. Should it be cleaned up and took better care of? I mean, it's not worth what, to a collector, what some of the other ones are. But these guns, there's not a lot of them anymore. I mean, there's a lot out there, but you can't just go to the ever gun shop and find one on the shelf. I've not seen one of these in our local gun store in a long time. In fact, I think I saw one in there since this one was there, and I bought it. And I didn't give a whole lot for it then. Now, I think I probably gave $400 or $500 for this little rifle. Little Browning. I don't know if you can see, it's got the deer head there. Little lever action, and then I put this right here does two things for me. Just while we're talking about it. It's a strap that I can hang, but when I stick it in my truck, I stick it on the passenger side over there and slide it down between the console and the seat. And this leather right here will protect that stock from getting rubbed on that plastic console. So it has a couple of purposes. But this little rifle is worth more than I gave for it now. So it is a savings plan. If you invest in expensive guitars and expensive guns, you're investing the money. It's not like, well, I think it's better necessarily. It's like the guitar. I really want me a Gibson Hummingbird. I'm going to own one day. They're about $3,500 to $4,500, depending on which one you get. I seen one for right at $7,000. Probably won't be getting that one. Old poor boy can't swing that. However, once you buy something like that, it holds that value. Is it any better than probably this guitar? Probably not. Not really. I mean, I could play the same songs. I don't play that good anyway. I don't play good enough for you to probably tell the difference in which guitar I'm hurting. Now you hand it to Trey Hensley or Doc Watson or, Ricky Skaggs or some of these old guitar pickers that's been playing a long time, and you could tell a difference in what guitar they holding probably. It would help, or hinder their performance. There's a lot of these guys that just have played for so long and are good guitarists, and probably Doc Watson and Billy Strings some of them's as good a guitar pickers as they ever was as far as flat picking and acoustics go. And then when I got into electric guitars, I was, young man into rock and roll, and I liked Angus Young and Slash and Stevie Ray Vaughan, and I grew up on all of that kind of a music, and I liked electric guitars, and that's kind of what drug me towards the Les Paul, I would say. And then I have a Fender Strat, but it is the lower quality Squier Strat, which is a Mexican-made, same guitar, lower quality. So it's not worth as much now as what if it had been a sure enough Fender would have increased in value. This one probably just kind of holds its value. I think it's probably increased a little. I think we gave about $250 for that Strat back then. It was a Squier, and now they're worth about $450, something like that. Still not extremely expensive guitars, but they have increased a little. I hadn't lost my money, in other words. So guns, guitars, and y'all, the sky's the limit on what, but you have to be careful on what things increase in value and what things decrease in value. So this is the way a country boy invests his money and still gets to see it, play with it, handle it, look at it. These old guns, I spend some money on them, and I stand in front of the gun cabinet sometimes go, which one I want to take? I want to hunt with this 22 or that 22. And that's the way it's supposed to be. Do you need more than one gun? Absolutely not. A man needs a 22 and a 12 gauge, and he can feed himself from now on. I agree with Mike Reed the other day. You get you an old black powder rifle that you can make your own black powder and flintlock, and you're good to go. You can hunt everything there is with it. You can bark squirrels with a 50 caliber rifle if you need to. So do you need a whole bunch of stuff? No. Man gonna play guitar, don't need but one guitar. You can't play but one at a time. But now if you want to invest your money, you're gonna throw it away. If I keep cash money in my pocket, y'all, I'll spend it on something. I'm just that way. I have set my life up in a way that I don't have a lot of bills. Now I got plenty of bills to accumulate for what little bit of money I make. I've paid for everything. I've kept everything I've ever worked for, and now I don't have to have a whole lot of money. So I stay broke half the time, but I stay happy. I still got everything I have ever bought, though. I have not been a trader. I have not tried to sell stuff off. If you get rid of a gun to pay a bill or a guitar or whatever else, usually the guitar or gun is gone. The bill gets paid. A lot of times you don't remember where that money went. And if you'd have figured out around, you could have paid that bill some other way. So I don't disagree with getting rid of stuff to pay a bill, because if you got a family that needs feeding, you got to do what's got to be done. I understand that. My statement is that you could probably figure out another way if you tried hard enough. To somebody that may be disabled, maybe whatever, I realize those circumstances are different. I'm talking about somebody in my position, okay? I'm able to do whatever. I can go make a knife. I can go work for somebody. I can go do a day's labor somewhere and come up with some extra money. Anybody with a construction site would just about pay somebody a little bit of money, maybe not $1,000 a week, but if you need some money, right quick, you go pick up lumber and trash around a job site somewhere for a little bit of cash. They'll pay you for that. You can just about walk up on any job site that's run by a privately owned, not no big corporation now, privately owned guy that's doing a handyman job, or if he's got 2 or 3 guys working for him and he's framing up a house or whatever, he'll probably pay you to come sweep up the sawdust and do stuff. If he just knew you was wanting to work one day and you just was up front with him, say, hey, look, I ain't looking for a job. I just need to make some extra money. Would you pay me a little bit to clean up the garbage and pick up the wood scraps and burn them and clean up one day? I guarantee you stuff like that would keep you from having to sell a gun or something. Because if you work in a full-time job and you can't pay your bills, you've already got your priorities mixed up somewhere down the line that put you in that position. Now, I realize these unexpected things come up. Kid gets sick, got a hospital bill, didn't have any, a lot of things can happen. I get that. So, I ain't saying that applies to every case. But a gun and a guitar is an investment long term. Here's the plus side to this. When you do get in that bind, and I do have no other option, but I need some of my money that I have put back, you can sell that gun. You can sell that guitar and get what money you put in there out plus some. You did not lose it. Okay? So what I'm getting at about don't try to find another way to say to come up with the money before you sell the gun is so that you keep this money longer period of time and you bringing more money in and not just letting money go. Okay. But now when you get to that bind that hey, I don't have another option, I don't have extra time to go work, make anything extra, make another knife, do something, and I need my money. When you put a gun up for sale or a guitar that's of quality, now I probably can't take this Ibanez and sell it right off the bat. If I had a Gibson sitting there, I guarantee you I'd find a buyer for it in no time. This Browning right here, if I decided, hey, I'm going to sell this rifle today, I guarantee there's somebody watching this video right now that'd say, hey, I'll buy that. Hey, holler at me. I'll take that off your hands. I put a picture of my Les Paul on Facebook the other day. I was dragging my guitars back out and getting into playing them. I had 2 or 3 people. Hey, if you decide you want to get rid of that guitar, you let me know. Now, just like that. So when you invest in something expensive and nice, you have a market of being able to get rid of it. If I got some old junk guns that don't nobody want, even though they may held their value, probably ain't going to be as easy to get rid of in that emergency situation. So these are things you need to think about when you're setting up your country boy savings plan and you decide, hey, I want some guitars I can play, but now one day I may decide that this ain't for me and I want to get rid of them. Buy name brand expensive stuff, okay? Because you can turn around and sell that. Now, if you never gonna sell it, you like me, I probably ain't never gonna sell none of mine because I like them. I buy them to use, and me, a gun like this propped up in a gun cabinet, rubbing on it, getting it out and looking at it, putting it back in there, and I can't go shoot it because I'm scared I'm gonna scratch it, that ain't for me. I want one I can tote and use. So everybody thinks of things a little different, and it's probably better if you can put it in a case and never use it, just leave it propped up. It'll probably be worth more. But anyway, I just wanted to give you some of my thoughts and opinions. These are not absolute facts, of course, on a country boy's investment. So here's the thing. If you got a little extra money you have set aside and you looking for somewhere to spend it, get you some Spirit of the Outdoors merchandise. We'll see you next time. Remember, the best way to do things is the way you like to do it. We'll see y'all. Y'all have a good one.